One Zambia, One Nation. This is Zanis News with me, Amos Zulu. The top stories. Government urges church to make use of CDF availability. A 47-year-old man defiles 11-year-old stepdaughter. Chief Kafwimbi, the 16th, installed. And coming up in sports, Ruben Kamanga appointed new FAS General Secretary. Here are the details. President Hakainde Hichilema has urged the church to make use of the availability of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. President Hichilema was speaking in Lusaka during the Seventh-day Adventist SDA Inter-Union Health Convention Church Service, where he emphasized that CDF is meant to support communities at the local level. Mr. Hichilema commended the Mwami Hospital in Eastern Province for leading the way in accessing CDF to improve the needs at the facility. The president also commended the church for complementing government's effort in providing quality health services for citizens. He said that government has an obligation to provide health services to the people, hence the partnership between government and the church is very cardinal. Speaking during the same occasion, SDA Southern Union President Vani Munyombwe thanked government for its continued support. Dr. Munyombwe said the church has continued to receive government grants that will help them run health facilities.
This is not political. It's not a political instrument. It's a people support instrument. And it covers a range of uses, applications, if I may use that word. Health is one of them. Please utilize it. I'm very delighted to know that Mwami Mission Hospital in Eastern Province, I believe, is leading the way in working with the Member of Parliament there, in working with the community there, and accessing the CDF funds to improve Mwami Mission Hospital. Thank you to the managers of the church there, the hospital there. We want this to be the norm everywhere else, because the community includes the church. Which church? This church. Is it the only one? No. Other churches as well.
We are endeavoring to be healthcare providers with a difference. And we hope that this meeting has helped us achieve that purpose. We will continue to count on this partnership with government as we endeavor to provide services for our people. Some of the topics we dealt with here are issues of mental health, kidney disease, nutrition, and just the management of our hospitals.
Even though you are not smoking, if you are going to be together with a smoker, it is like that you are smoking. In fact, secondhand smoking can even be more dangerous than the smoker itself, because when he inhales, all the chemicals are there, and he is going to exhale all the chemicals in tobacco, plus, of course, all the dirt, all the germs that he has in his body.
Now, various women-led cooperatives in Lusaka district have commended government for favorable empowerment programs. The agricultural cooperatives have disclosed that women empowerment programs by government have also led to an improvement of livelihoods at household and community level. Here's a report.
These are small-scale farmers who constitute various female-led cooperatives from Lusaka East Block, who have gathered at the Civic Center to showcase their produce. Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu graced the event and stressed the importance of agricultural shows.
Agricultural shows are very important in the sense that there is exchange of agricultural information and sharing of new and improved technologies among the farming communities.
Exhibitors at the event commended government for various interventions in the agricultural sector.
The UPND administration has increased. The very one I like most is the comprehensive agriculture extended policy, where they are saying now it's not just FISIP. FISIP has been understood as just receiving fertilizer, but under this comprehensive one, I think there's even training there. They're going to be training us.
And from the time we started our cooperative, our lives have changed. We have money in our pockets. We look forward to do more agriculture products.
The new Dawn government has created an enabling environment in which organized groups can thrive by assessing government incentives such as Constituency Development Fund.
And Lusaka Central Camp Extension Officer Claudia Mulele appealed to government to consider increasing the Farmer Input Support Program packages for 2023 to 2024 farming season if the farmers are to realize real value for their effort.
We are hoping that the government can do something, increase the inputs for the farmers who are small-scale farmers there, so that they can get inputs, each one a pack, and produce enough.
The Lusaka East Block Agricultural and Commercial Show was held under the theme Inclusive Economic Transformation. Lou Majila, reporting for Zanis in Lusaka.
Kapirimposhi Member of Parliament Stanley Kakubo says government is utilizing the Constituency Development Fund to respond to various development needs for the communities in rural areas. Mr. Kakubo said this when he inspected the construction of a clinic in Kambosha, where the community is currently walking over 15 kilometers to access the nearby health facility. Take a look.
For many rural communities, access to health care is a challenge, compounded by long distances to health facilities. But for the community of Kambosha and Kapirimposhi district, health services will now be brought to their doorsteps following the commencement of the construction of a clinic in the area. Kapirimposhi Member of Parliament Stanley Kakubo has inspected progress on the project, being constructed at over 900,000 kwacha through the Constituency Development Fund.
CDF has moved from 1.6 billion kwacha to 28 million. And that is where the work is, to ensure that projects like these transform from the bank to physical structures on the ground. And this is what you've seen. In terms of impact, you can see from the women. The Chilolo has mentioned very well the issues of women traveling long distances, especially during the times of labor. This facility is going to cut that distance, because from here, some of our people would have to go all the way to Kawama, but that distance is too far, Kwalepa. So now this facility, we're all looking forward to it.
The traditional leadership provided land for the construction of the health facility, a staff house, and accompanying infrastructure.
Banamayo filanga chakwati na balwala mwalishi wafe muri bafyashi. Chira shuperi ngiri na bapapira munshira. So chiri chansansa sana okwati mutu wafwe muri fyonse foto alalira kuno Kambosha. For the first time kukwatako buyanta nshingo bubwa papushe chalo chonse.
The community here covers over 15 kilometers to access health care at Kapirimposhi Urban Clinic.
Initially in Chiwele, we only have one health facility, which is located at a quite far place. So it was difficult for most of our mothers, children to access. So, but Chiwele Chimonecha no Kwebatawe, Inwenchende Irero Fafetubike. Tamwa Keto Kuchan na Mumma Saina Wangu Abantu Badiabate Mosana.
Carlos Zanis, Kapirimposhi.
Meanwhile, Eastern Province Permanent Secretary Paul Tole has expressed disappointment with the quality of works done by the contractor on the staff houses at Kawiwi Primary School in Kasenengwa District. Mr. Tole observes that the poor workmanship on the staff houses using the 2022 Constituency Development Fund is quite despicable. The visibly annoyed Permanent Secretary says government will not pardon any short works done by contractors. He has since tasked engineers at the Kasenengwa Town Council to ensure that the contractor works on the defects, adding that failure to do so will result in serious action being taken. We take our first break, and still to come, a 47-year-old man defiles his 11-year-old stepdaughter. Stay tuned.
for news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders. Zanis TV has you covered on Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar. Zambia will next month host the 22nd Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa Summit for the heads of state and government at the Munungushi International Conference Center, Kenneth Kaunda Wing. The summit will take place from the 6th to the 8th of June 2023. The theme of the summit is Economic Integration for a Thriving COMESA, anchored on green investment, value addition, and tourism. Over 3,000 delegates from the COMESA member states and beyond are expected to attend the COMESA Summit in Lusaka. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Information and Media.
Welcome back. The Itezitezi Magistrate Court has heard a case in which an 11-year-old girl of Kataba area has been defiled by her 47-year-old stepfather. During trial, the minor described to Magistrate Watson Mwemba how her stepfather forced himself on her and had sexual intercourse on the sofa. This is in a case where Sefinet Mujibelo, a bricklayer of Lilanda West in Itezitezi, is accused of defilement. And in her testimony, the girl testified that on the material day, she was playing with her sister outside the house when her stepfather called her sister and sent her to take money to someone in the nearby village. She told the court that immediately after her sister disappeared, her stepfather instructed her to lie on the sofa, but she refused, after which he forcibly jumped on her and had carnal knowledge of her. She stated that the experience was unpleasant for her, adding that the act was painful and brutal. Muchibelo was later charged and arrested after medical examinations at Itezitezi District Hospital. The case has since been adjourned to June 6, 2023 for continued trial. Now, Minister of Education Douglas Shakalima has launched a Life Skills and Health Education program in schools. The program, being supported by the Global Fund, is aimed at advocating for adolescent health education in schools. More in the following report.
Teenage pregnancies and illicit activities among the children and the youth have continued to be of great concern to government and society. With such matters that threaten and risk the bright future of the nation, government has launched the Life Skills and Adolescent Health Education in school clubs to curb such vices. Minister of Education Douglas Yakalima was at Mwense Secondary School in Mwense District to launch the program.
Global Fund has been supporting the implementation of adolescent health clubs in 500 schools, 32 selected districts with a total of 75,000 learners across the country. To this effect, my ministry has concluded the process of procuring ICT equipment, which is 500 tablets, 500 projectors, and 500 projector screens. Stationery for the 500 adolescent health school clubs has also been procured. Training of 500 teachers as matrons or patrons across the 32 districts has also been adhered to.
And former Education Minister David Mabumba commended government for the program.
Therefore, Minister, it is important that you continued where we left. We left comprehensive sexual education, and which you found that other stakeholders were not kind with it because of the religious and cultural beliefs that it carries. But however, Minister, I want to thank you that you brought the stakeholders together to relook at this particular subject matter, because it is happening, like you have said. When you look at our statistics, many of our pupils are getting pregnant at a tender age and moving away from the class. Therefore, Minister, we look forward to your continuous providing of strategic leadership, mainly in reforming the education sector.
Meanwhile, Chief Kashiba has urged governments to form sensitization committees.
Your ministry has a mountain to climb, especially for those learners who are not in boarding schools. This program will only be effective if other stakeholders, such as traditional leaders, civic leaders, and parents are fully incorporated.
Chipini Makasa, Zanis, Mwense District.
Still in education news, the Parliamentary Committee on Education, Science and Technology has expressed happiness with the enrollment of over 59,000 learners in public schools in Northern Province. Committee Chairperson Twambo Mutinta, who was in Kasama on a fact-finding mission to benchmark the progress of free education, attributed the increased enrollment of learners to the reintroduction of the free education policy. Ntazanga Mumbana reports.
The free education policy has come with many challenges, such as increased enrollment of pupils in schools, which has led to inadequate classroom space and learning materials and increased teacher-pupil ratio. Nawa Mlamba, the Northern Province Education Officer, gives more insight.
Limited classroom space resulting in overcrowded classrooms. When you have more pupils in school and if you are not increasing on the infrastructure, this will be the common challenge. The first thing that will happen is that you have overcrowded classrooms. Inadequate teachers in science, mathematics, and ECE. Pupils are increasing. We are recruiting more, but there are subject areas where we may not have enough teachers.
The Parliamentary Committee on Education, Science and Technology, which is in Northern Province to find out what is obtaining on the ground in the implementation of the policy, interacted with teachers, pupils and parents at Kasama Boys and Chileshe Chepela School for people with special needs.
We have seen a very good response of parents bringing children to school, and we have over-enrolled in some cases, in some classes.
Our school is old and dilapidated, and we do not have infrastructure. You can imagine this school was meant for less than 100 pupils. Now if we count from preschool to grade 12, we have over 1,000 pupils. So we are afraid, especially in terms of sanitation and infrastructure. Once we work on those, then our school can go back to enrolling a lot of learners.
Meanwhile, Committee Chairperson Twambo Mutinta pledged his committee's commitment to look into the sector.
This policy is working. All what we need is to sustain it now, improve some of the guidelines and see to it that our children access quality and equitable education.
Ntazanga Mumba for Zanis in Kasama District.
Meanwhile, Monze Central Member of Parliament Jack Mwimbu has directed all schools in his constituency to ensure they obtain land title to prevent any land encroachment that would derail further development of school infrastructure. Speaking during the groundbreaking event for the construction of 2 teachers' houses at Malende Primary School, Mr. Mwimbu expressed sadness that the school land had been encroached by villagers, a situation he noted would present challenges to expand the school in future. Meanwhile, Mr. Mwimbu also took time to hand over a 1x3 classroom block at Kabanga Basic School built using the Constituency Development Fund.
Decent accommodation for teachers is not only a catalyst to boost their morale, but also help to retain them in rural schools. Monze Central Member of Parliament Jack Mwimbu knows this too well, and this is why construction of teachers' houses is being considered as a priority, just like other school infrastructure in his constituency.
Teachers have been complaining, and the PTA and the parents, that there is no infrastructure at this school. The complaints were that teachers were staying in town for those who were able to come here. And at times there were no teachers who were coming here because of the conditions that were obtaining. Today, we are witnessing the start of the construction of 2 teachers' houses. It's one milestone which we have made on behalf of the government and the people of Malende community. Appeal to the contractor, being represented by Mr. Mioba, please let's ensure that we deliver quality buildings here. The government is spending a lot of money. 650,000 kwacha is not a small amount of money. It's a lot of money. I would like you and the supervisors who are the council to continuously inspect that the building that is being built here complies with the standards that are required. We are not here just to build a building. We are building a teacher's house where any teacher who is posted here will be happy that I'm in a good house at Malende.
Deliver the project houses, of which we are able to complete in 3 months' time.
The Malende community is excited that the New Dawn government has responded positively to their long cry for teachers' houses at the institution.
PF yakamana buyodo, not even a hand kuno kumalende pe. So we are very happy kambo New Dawn. Palambo kwakali kwa kutiano mu ba MOP ibantu bayibona kuti yata kulibonyanzi ibona mbere.
Frederick Macha for Zanis News in Monze District, Southern Province.
That story by Frederick takes us to our second break, and still ahead, Chief Kafwimbi, the 16th installed.
For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, Zanis TV has you covered. On Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar. Zambia will next month host the 22nd Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa Summit for the heads of state and government at the Munungushi International Conference Center, Kenneth Kaunda Wing. The summit will take place from the 6th to the 8th of June 2023. The theme of the summit is Economic Integration for a Thriving COMESA, anchored on green investment, value addition, and tourism. Over 3,000 delegates from the COMESA member states and beyond are expected to attend the COMESA Summit in Lusaka. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Information and Media.
We continue with the news. Chief Kafwimbi, the 16th of the Iwa na Mwanga people in Isoka district, has been installed, and the newly installed traditional leader has expressed eagerness to work with various stakeholders in actualizing development in the chiefdom. Meanwhile, Muchinga Province Permanent Secretary Henry Mukungule has called for peace and stability among chiefdoms in the region. Miriam Kumwenda witnessed the installation and now reports.
He has been installed to the throne as the new Chief Kafwimbi of the Iwa na Mwanga people in Isoka district in Muchinga Province. Mr. Aaron Siame ascends to the throne as the 16th Chief Kafwimbi, whose installation ceremony was graced by Muchinga Province Permanent Secretary Henry Mukungule. Mr. Mukungule said government recognizes the important role that the traditional leaders play in promoting development.
I wish to extend my congratulations to you for ascending to this honorable throne, and I further wish to extend my congratulations to the Iwa na Mwanga Royal Establishment for conducting the selection process professionally and peacefully. Peace and stability are important aspects in good governance, and I am confident that you will look after the affairs of the chiefdom with utmost dignity and fairness as you provide traditional leadership to your subjects.
And newly installed Chief Kafwimbi has since pledged to work with the government to bring development to his chiefdom.
During my reign, I have lined up a number of programs and projects that I wish to embark on. I have in my plan to change the face of my chiefdom. Pray that the government and other stakeholders would support to actualize them.
Isoka Member of Parliament was also at hand to witness the installation ceremony.
Kwa New Dawn government nkusalifya elo kumlandu wakute CDF watulundila na ma project ya kuloleka mwisoka uzea saa kuloleka ya kuloleka chilikuwa wino saa kulondu kuomba otherwise SDF ikutwa kwa nkani.
Chiefs across the province, public and private heads of departments, among other guests, were also present to witness the installation ceremony of new Chief Kafwimbi following the death of the late chief in March this year. Miriam Kumwenda reporting for Zanis in Isoka district, Muchinga Province.
In a related development, Elias Mwambwe has been installed as Chief Mabumba, the 8th of the Ushi people of Mansa district. Speaking when he officiated at the installation ceremony, Provincial Minister Derek Chilundika pledged government's commitment to work with traditional leaders countrywide.
Peaceful successions of chiefs to the Mabumba chiefdom in Mansa district has again been seen from the installation of Elias Mwambwe as Chief Mabumba the 8th. Wapla Province Minister has officiated at the installation ceremony of Chief Mabumba with a call for people in the chiefdom to support the new chief.
I also wish to urge you, the people of Mabumba chiefdom, to support our new chief in his new journey of leading you to greater heights. As government, we stand to support the development projects that will be initiated in the Chief Mabumba's area in order to improve the lives of our people.
House of Chiefs Chairperson Chief Chisonka urged other chiefs to put family trees in place in order to avoid succession wrangles.
On behalf of the House of Chiefs and the Luapula Province Chiefs Council, I want to urge my fellow chiefs present here to ensure that we put our family trees in order to avoid future succession conflicts.
Senior Chief Kalasa Mkoso, the peaceful transition to the chieftaincy is key in development to Kene Chomba, reporting for Zanis News in Mansa District.
We now take our final break, and when we return is more news, including sports, where Ruben Kamanga has been appointed as new FAS General Secretary. Stay tuned.
For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, Zanis TV has you covered. On Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar. Zambia will next month host the 22nd Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa Summit for the heads of state and government at the Munungushi International Conference Center, Kenneth Kaunda Wing. The summit will take place from the 6th to the 8th of June 2023. The theme of the summit is Economic Integration for a Thriving COMESA, anchored on green investment, value addition, and tourism. Over 3,000 delegates from the COMESA member states and beyond are expected to attend the COMESA Summit in Lusaka. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Information and Media.
Welcome back. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has donated 313 bicycles to sector volunteers under the Scaling Up Nutrition Project in Chipata District of Eastern Province. We have the rest of the story by Sylvester Chishimba.
Government is working with the United Nations agencies and its collaborating partners in a bid to promote nutrition at household level under the Scaling Up Nutrition Project in Chipata District. To effectively implement the project, 313 bicycles have been handed over to the sector volunteers in order for them to reach far-flanked areas in the district. Chipata District Commissioner Elida Banda was represented at the handover ceremony by the District Administrative Officer Kapemba Skazwe.
So with these bicycles now, you'll be able to reach out easily and promote nutrition activities on your area. We must therefore not have any reason to fail to run this program because we've been assisted now, isn't it? Just an appeal to all of you to guard these bicycles jealously and make sure they are taken care of 100%. That said, I must say thank you also to the UN agencies, the UNICEF, for giving us this support.
Acting Community Development Officer Beatrice Piri said the bicycles were to be handed over to all implementing ministries under the Scaling Up Nutrition Project.
So we have volunteers from the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services. We have volunteers from Ministry of Health. We have volunteers from Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. We have volunteers from the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries that have all come here to come and participate in the handover of the bicycles that are meant for them to facilitate different activities that are being done under the Scaling Up Nutrition Project.
And the volunteers are happy with the gesture.
Ndipoti kuthokozani kuti si chinthu chapafupi kuti izi njinga zibwere ochokera kwati zinachoko kufika pano kwenze effort yaikulu madandaulo tinamba nkaro opereka koma tingokuthokozani kuti mtima wotere mpitirize ndipo msalekezere apa mkatithokozereko na kwati zinachoka amathandizo kuti ndisokondwera akathandizeko sovena na kwa president mkatithokozere polola injira kuti izi zichitike vilibochitikapo kumbuyo kose tikuti zikomo.
Ninokondwa kwambiri chifukwa chakuti siku ino ya lero talandira manjinga yamene tankhala tili kupempha kulingana na programu yathu ya Scaling Up Nutrition. So nithokoza boma pamodzi na president wathu na wose ma stakeholders chifukwa chokwanirisa ndithu ata anamvera pempho lathu dadaulo lathu ta antchito itivuta chifukwa cha mayendedwe tisowa mayendedwe.
Sylvester Shimba for Zanis in Chipata District, Eastern Province.
In sports news, the Football Association of Zambia, FAZ, has appointed Ruben Kamanga as General Secretary. Kamanga, who has served in various football portfolios over the years, is an accountant by profession. Among his corporate credentials include Chief of Fixed and Enterprise Sales at Zambia Telecommunications Company and currently serves as United Bus Company Chief Executive Officer. He also holds a Master's of Business Administration from the University of Zambia. FAZ President Andrew Kamanga has since thanked his executive committee for having filled the position of General Secretary and has wished the new General Secretary goodwill in his new position. This is contained in a statement made available to Zanis by Football Association of Zambia Communications Manager Sidney Mungala. Now that story brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a reminder of the top stories. Government urges church to make use of CDF availability. A 47-year-old man defiles his 11-year-old stepdaughter. Chief Kafwimbi the 16th installed. And lastly, in sports, Ruben Kamanga appointed new FAZ General Secretary. Thank you so much for watching. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is Amos Zulu. Bye for now.